And welcome to the super fun, awesome, happy time pedal show. My name is Gabor, and today I'm looking at this again. So I did a video, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something like that. You can watch that one here, on the fairly new Neural DSP SLO-100 plugin, which is this one. It was sort of my first impressions of it, and I also kind of compared it to the SLO on AmpliTube. And quite a lot of people watched it, thank you so much, and a lot of people commented as well, and a lot of people said I should maybe try the same cabinet IR just to make it a bit more fair, because a lot of people think and say that in AmpliTube it takes a lot more work to get a good sound out of the IR. So, or you know, their speaker emulation. So what I thought I'd do today is I've got this, right, Neural DSP. I've got the AmpliTube version of it, and I also thought let's try the STL AmpHub with their Solstice Solo 100. I've got those three. I've basically got them all on a preset that is a preset using this particular amp. The only thing I've done in all of them is turn the output down a bit because I think they're always a bit loud for my liking. So we're going to check them all out first with their own IRs, built-in IRs, and then I've got this. So this is a 2-note Torpedo wall of sound. And I'm using basically an IR combination that, if you watch any of my videos here, basically, just about any of my videos here, usually when I use that 2-note Torpedo live that's there, this is what's loaded into it. So it's basically two Celestion Plus IRs. On one side, you've got the Celestion Greenback 4x10. So that's the IR I'm using. And on the other side, it's an Angle XXL 4x12 cabinet, the high gain with 121 and a 57. So that's what I usually use for most of my amps in the 2-note Torpedo. So I thought I'd use a wall of sound with that same. So there's no EQ, no compression. There's a little bit of room sound from Studio A, because I just think a little bit of room sound usually makes it a bit more realistic sounding, in my opinion. But everything else is turned off, right? So it's just that, basically. But let's start off. Let's go back to the Neural DSP. Where is it? Here it is. So now let's quickly have a look. So this is the default preset. All I did was turn the output down. Let's see what this sounds like. Oh, and I should mention, I'm using my, this is an old Greco, 1978 Greco. Not quite sure what the model number is. I've got to look into it a bit more. Maybe an EG, are they EG 650 or something like that, from 1978. And I just recently put these Fishman Fluence classic humbuckers in it, which are killer and were sent to me by Fishman. So hello, Ken, and everyone at Fishman. I really like this guitar at the moment, so that's why I'm using it. And I thought it's a kind of LP style, you know, with PF. They're meant to be fairly accurate PF reproductions with their kind of Fluence design. So I thought I'll use it anyway. So basically, I've got this guitar going straight into my Audient ID44 interface, into the high Z or high Z or DI input in the front. So I actually also did a video on that here, where there's impedance issues and stuff like that. If you have a high Z, high Z, or low Z, low Z, depending on where you are, a ZZ top or ZZ top. So check out that video. I'll put a link down in the description below as well. But it goes straight into this. And so this is just now, I believe, the completely clean, direct sound, which sounds like this. So the Torpedo wall of sound is switched off as well. That's just a direct, clean sound. So let's start off just by quickly using just the built-in IRs, just to get a sort of a ballpoint of what they sound like again. So this is the default setting. I haven't touched any of the dials on here. Just turning output down a little bit. This is the default setting on the Neural DSP, and it sounds like this. Which I think sounds killer. Just the default sound. I mean, wow. Okay, now let's check out STL AmpHub. So this is the Solo Lord. So if you go into here, into STL Tones and Solo Lord, that's the preset. All I did was turn the output down a little bit as well. This actually has an overdrive up the front. So let's turn it off. Let's actually get rid of that. So now let's just use it. I've got to, I guess, turn the overdrive up a bit more. Okay, so this is just the amp now. Sounds pretty cool as well. So this is, again, just using their own 4x12 Origin and a 4x12 Bogart. It sounds good. Okay, so that's the STL AmpHub sound. Okay, now this is the metal SLO channel. Again, all I did was turn the output down a little bit. It's the, it comes with, what's the cabinet? It's a 4x12 metal T1, whatever the mics are that are set up. Someone said I change it. I didn't. This is just a preset. I didn't touch any of this stuff. And it also has this compressor. Actually, let's turn the compressor off. So we don't have the compressor. It's just the amp, right? So this is the AmpliTube. Actually, and it is very loud. Let's turn it down a bit more. Oh, hang on. Whoops. I've still got the STL on. Huh? Okay, sorry. So that was 2. This is it now. Let's very quickly see if we can make this sound better. So for example, I don't know. I don't know what this 4x12 metal cabinet is, but I know they have, okay, we can do it like this. They have a 4x12, where is it in here? Hang on. The Pro XL. Okay, so this is the Angle 4x12 XXL cabinet. So it's the same cabinet I use in the wall of sound plugin. Let's just see if that sounds any better. I think that already makes a big difference and sounds a lot better. I'm not sure if that metal cabinet is very good, but I like this, so. I still think it's a bit, maybe peaking things a little bit loud, so. Okay, maybe the gain's down a little bit from the other ones. I think just changing the cabinet made it sound way better. So if we compare that now, let's go back to the STL. It's maybe brighter, this one. It's a bit bassier, the AmpliTube. So maybe, I don't know, let's bring the, it's not bad actually. It's oh, if I could play. I don't know what I'm doing, but it sounds pretty cool. Again, maybe a bit more gain. Okay, quickly again compared to this. This is maybe a bit darker. Let's sort of treble up a bit. A lot more bass actually as well. I think that doesn't sound bad at all now. The speaker made a huge difference. Okay, and let's quickly check this one lastly. Again, so this is again just a preset. To me, I mean, just like that, without doing too much, that sounds killer. If you want really quick killer sound, that is wow. And hang on, none of the pedals are on. Nope, none of the pedals are on, and none of them are on. No, cool, okay. One thing I actually really like about this as well is when you're in the overdrive channel, it blacks out the knobs that you don't use on the switches, because sometimes you kind of go, oh, does a bright switch work on that? Anyway, I think that's good. Not affiliated, I should mention that. I'm not affiliated in any way with Neural DSP. AmpliTube, IK Multimedia, they have given me AmpliTube Max and pretty much free reign on any of their plugins. And STL Tones have given me AmpHub. So I just, for full disclosure, So Neural DSP, the one that I like the best, is the one that hasn't given me anything. So I haven't even been in touch with them. So yes. Okay, now let's quickly try this. I mean, I don't want this to be too long of a video. Let's quickly try this. So here, if you right click, you turn the speaker off. So now the speaker emulation that we had before, so we had a 57 and a full 21, that's turned off. Let's now turn on the Torpedo wall of sound and see what that sounds like. Okay, hang on. That's just that. I still got to turn. Okay, so let's go to all the plugins. AmpliTube. And let's turn here, I think as well, yeah, bypass. Let's turn that off and let's go to STL. How does that work here? Oh, right click as well. Okay, cool. And that's off. It looks off now, doesn't it? Yeah, that's on highlighted now. Okay, so that's off now. Okay, so let's start off now with the, is that the one? Neural DSP. So let's start off with that one. So now we're using the 2 notes wall of sound, this IR. That sounds pretty cool in my opinion. Okay, now let's try the same thing. So I'm not changing any of the settings, not doing anything with STL. So that's on now. Ooh, and that gets loud. Again, I think the Neural has way more gain. Let's quickly compare that. This is a Neural now. Much more similar, but I do have to still say that Neural to me, out of those two, sounds killer. I mean, I haven't really adjusted much there, so what can we do here to make it more? Maybe a little less bass as well, maybe a little less mids. The gain, I mean, the thing is, the gain on this is on full, and the gain on here is on 7, and I think this has got more gain. It's a lot of gain on the... It sounds good. I mean, they sound different, but still sounds good. Okay, let's try the AmpliTube. So this is now AmpliTube with the Torpedo. Whoa! Okay, way brighter, but the presence is all the way up on this. Sounds pretty good actually to me. I mean, it's definitely better. Hang on, let's maybe bring the mids up a bit. So I think on here, once you go past it about 7 or 8, it kind of gets a bit almost blown out. To keep it tighter, you got to keep the gain lower. Okay, now back to Neural DSP. So with this, I haven't even touched any of the EQ yet because it sounds really good. Maybe a bit more present. That sounds killer. That sounds really, really, really good. Okay, STL tones. That stays a bit tighter with the gain all the way up. The other two I find, the neural one as well, once you go past sort of 7 or 8, it kind of breaks up, or not breaks up, but kind of gets blown out. Maybe bring the bass and the mids down a bit. Get a bit more gain if you turn a master up as well, but again it gets a little bit more blown out sounding. Okay, quickly one more time this one. The Neural DSP. Just so much gain. And then, so if you turn it up, it kind of gets blown out. Oh, hang on, the EQ is not on, is it? Let's turn the EQ completely. It wasn't on anyway. Let's go with the boosted pickups. That sounds great. Try it one more time. It's just got a fizz on the top that if you turn a presence down, it doesn't quite go, it goes muddy, but the fizz doesn't go. Still sounds good. I definitely think the IR makes it sound better. This, and then lastly, STL. Here we go. Let's turn our overdrive down and see what happens. now, very quickly, let's compare that again. Let's turn the Torpedo wall of sound off. And let's turn the internal cabinet on one more time. So again, this is just whatever the preset was set to. Let's get rid of that. Okay, this one now. Wall of sound is off. Let's turn that angle cabinet back on. There's a lot of bottom end in this. Let's just quickly change this to, oh, what am I doing? Let's change to 57. That makes a big difference too, so that makes it a bit less kind of bassy. I think that sounds much better, just changing it to that angle cabinet. But in all honesty, and I mean, again, we're just on the default setting. I think I just moved the presence up a bit before, but just on a default setting, that is... Also maybe a bit boomy. So that was a look now at the Neural DSP SLO-100, the STL Tones AmpHub, what was it called? Solstice Solo 100, which I mean quite obviously looks like a Soldano, and looking at the AmpliTube, where is it? There it is, AmpliTube SLO-100, the again official Soldano SLO-100. Just changing the cabinet makes a huge difference in my opinion, just in that. Yeah, what are your thoughts more than anything else? Comments below. Thank you so much to the awesome people at AmpliTube. Thank you so much to the awesome people at STL Tones, Neural DSP. I'd love to work with you. Hey. Yeah, and big thank you to Ken and everyone at Fishman for. I really dig these pickups. They're great pickups, and it's a killer guitar. There's possibly a video already of it here, like a quick story about it. If not, it will be there eventually. So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.